Hi everyone, Sean here with BlueRidgeSilverhound, and we are back at it again. Pocket Change Market Report for May 6, 2023. We're going to dive right in and take a look at the previous 24 hours of sold sales activity on eBay, revolving around some of our favorite coin finds, change finds, primarily errors and varieties, is what we normally cover in this video. Few things that you guys need to be absolutely aware of is we talk primarily about non-graded coins, okay? Coins that aren't in any PCGS, NGC, Annex, ICG, slabs, none of those. We're not trying to send a message that you should grade your coins because it's expensive. PCGS for the longest time only had that $60 option for attributing errors. Now that they've added in kind of like a more economical version at I think $30, $35, it's still very expensive. So you really have to think twice about sending those out if your plan is to resell them. Sometimes it's just not worth the trouble or the money. In addition, you also have to wait that crummy 30 to 45 days to get your coins back if you're just doing the general submission service. There's a lot of things that can contribute to this not being a very good power play for resales. As attractive as the coins look in a whole, it doesn't necessarily equal more money in your pocket. It really doesn't. And sometimes you can even be on the losing end if you're not careful. And another thing to keep in mind, everything sold within the last 24 hours, we're using their original photos from the respective listings. So you're going to get the best and the worst types of photography. You'll see right away what that kind of low bar is. If you're looking to get into selling some of these coins, it's always good to have perspective on what's acceptable on these listings in terms of the photography. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. Coins, of course, that you're going to see here were all found by roll hunting, which is a great and popular activity today, especially for folks looking for silver. And then also cherry picking coin shops and shows is another fantastic way of pulling in some pretty rare or valuable coins that you could add to your collection or to resell. I know a lot of people that do this for a living and do it very well. Quick little note here on Whatnot. We will have the Bargain Bin Tuesday show on May 9th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Due to popular demand, the first one was very popular. I think everybody appreciated coins that they could score for $5, $10, $15, $20 and not necessarily shell out $100, $200, $300 or more for some of the coins that that are quite prevalent on the platform. So the bargain bin, we're back. We ended up selling over 60 bargain coins. It was a lot of shipping, but I got it done and out. And we're going to do it again here this Tuesday. So if you're looking to add in some high quality, very affordable coins, come check it out. I'll have the referral link to grab your $15 in store credit at the bottom of the video in the description box. And I'll also pin it in the comments section as well. So if you're not signed up, go ahead and take advantage of that. So let's go ahead and jump right in and see what has sold here in the last day or so. Thank you guys again. Happy Saturday. And we have a 2-coin lot by one of our normal sellers on the platform. They had 2 Jefferson nickel error coins here, a 1999P, which appears to be broad-struck. Uncentered broad-struck is what they would call it. Some would even call it an off-center error. It's very close here. It's only off-center by about maybe 7-8%, and with that little deviation there, it kind of gives it the appearance of a broad strike as well. And we also have a 1973 nickel that looks to have a fair amount of circulation wear, but it's got one singular rim clip at the top of the coin, so 12 o'clock is what we're looking at here. There's a little snapshot of the reverse. So we have a 2-coin lot here that ended up selling for $27.38. I wouldn't necessarily consider this bulk listing. Bulk, I consider anything with like 3, 4, or 5 coins or more. 2 coins is just fair. But don't expect to grab a 2 coin lot like this and then turn around and resell them if you're looking to, make a profit. That can be a little bit tough. But this is 2 coins here that you could possibly add to a collection if it's your first time collecting error coins. This is kind of a bargain way of doing it. And sometimes selling, in packs of 2 will be attractive to some buyers who are looking to pick up a few and not just one, and to keep the shipping down and everything like that. This is actually a very nice gem, 1970s, large date, Lincoln Memorial set. One big one to be on the lookout for here on this date. And you can find this coin not only in circulation, but this same variety can be cherry-picked out of a mint set of that year. So this is actually a very notable repunched mint mark. The secondary S is slightly north of the primary. You can actually see the double curl of the top of the S there showing through. Again, very attractive coin, BU red, which is actually a kind of grade, I guess, that is easy to find because of the mid-set factor here. This one ended up selling for $39.99. I mean, well done. That's a very good sale price on this one. So always be on the lookout for this repunched mint mark, along with the small date, the FS101 double die obverse, as well as another error that looms big out there for collectors to be on the lookout for. All right, very neat. I talked about the Wisconsin low and high leaf quarters earlier in the week, as in if you found them, what do you do with them? How do you sell them? What's the best way? Do you need to grade them? We talked about everything regarding these coins because they're still being found today. Now, the high and low leaf quarters were distributed in the heartland of America, more specifically Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas was the original drop zone for these quarters. So I would say that these came from probably the Dallas-Fort Worth Fed Reserve Bank area. But yeah, I mean, even to this day, they're still being found. Like this one was sold in Texas, so I would assume that it was also found there as well. You could see that low leaf engraved area there, which is not supposed to be there. This is the anomaly we're looking for. Very well-known Cherry Picker's Guide variety. It's even in the Red Book. I mean, this one has been known for a while. It's almost 20 years old. And I'm happy to say that this coin is being found all throughout the nation. I had made mention that even a few examples were actually found in Alaska. All right, so yeah, they're out there. You could encounter them, at any point. Again, these are on the Denver minted coins. Surprisingly, this one sold for quite a bit. I wouldn't say it's quite the market. I've seen them sell for a lot less, but this one ended at $130.15. So that's a very good amount of money for the seller, and hopefully it sticks. And aside from that, good sale. Another great sale here. I actually own one of these. Not in this kind of condition. Mine's probably more AU, but this 1983 Philly Roosevelt dime exhibits a notable cud die break right on the kind of like 1 or 2 o'clock position of the coin there, above Roosevelt's head. But a piece of the die had fallen off just due to general wear and tear, which happens. So when you have that missing piece of the die and these coins are being struck, all the metal flow goes into that cavity there in the die, creating this large bulbous anomaly on the coins. When you flip the coin over, you'll traditionally have a little bit of weakness in that corresponding spot, like right here at the bottom of dime is where this spot would be on the obverse. This one here, $100 bill. So the seller ended up with a C note as a result of this find. Very well done, by the way. I think the last few examples of the same very cut die break sold for like 30, 40 bucks. And cuds are kings right now in the error marketplace. They're just realizing a lot of money each and every single day. This particular seller had a number of these $5 bills, and kudos to him or her, whoever it is. Ended up buying, and they're kind of brave because not many people that I know actually go out and buy BEP packs of $5 bills. Those can get pretty expensive. But they ended up finding the packs with binary 8s and 9s, and he or she had sold 4 or 5 of them. Actually, I bought the last one off of their website, which I thought was a very fair deal. But they're all crispy uncirculated. They have no folds. They're straight from the pack. 8s and 9s. It's what's featured on these binary notes on the serial number there. This one sold for $24.95. Check out the reverse of the note and you'll see crispy fresh, very flat, great embossing. And then here's the other one too. I would have preferred to buy this one, but it was a little bit more expensive. This is a binary, but there's more 8s in this one compared to the previous. So you would say 6 of a kind 8s, binary. The 9s really don't distract at all from this note. It's very attractive. And this seller went with $32.95, which can be kind of a deal considering as how attractive the serial number appears. Most notes similar to this I've seen sell for between $50 and $75. So this was a really good deal. The one I ended up buying was a 5 of a kind 8s with 3 9s in there. So a different kind of patterning. But it was the last one, and I'm proud to own one myself of this note. So not too bad. I would say probably could have made a few more dollars on selling these, but the seller did just clear out all their notes. I think one person ended up buying 4 or 5 of them in one shot. Again, there's another reverse image of this one. Another Roosevelt dime. Dimes are, I would say decently represented this week. I think this might be the last dime, however. 1991p Roosevelt dime is off-center by about 15%-ish, somewhere around there. Nice mid-state coin. These are collected by date, so as long as they have a full date and they're at their highest state of preservation, they are going to command a little bit more money in the marketplace. For example, this one ended up selling for $25.38, so not too bad. A little bit of a comparison, quite a bit bigger and elongated compared to a regular dime. So, very attractive looking coin nonetheless. We actually had a few of these crown die breaks make headlines this week because now all of a sudden people are selling them and the prices are starting to creep back up a little bit. There was actually one pretty nice example that sold here in the last day that we're going to talk about later in the show. This one right here doesn't show a lot of circulation wear. Quite honestly, it's a very attractive looking piece. You do have a few little carbon stainings on the front and back of the coin, a few little contact marks, but all in all, it's a very attractive, very strong example. That's what you're looking at, guys. That large die chip on top of Washington's hat on the reverse that goes into E pluribus unum. These things will just be, coveted till the end of time, I would imagine. It's a one-shot reverse, very, very cool. Kind of rivals, in my humble opinion, the 76 Bicentennial Drummer Boy reverse. Again, very iconic. This one ended up selling for $74.50, which is quite strong, considering that we've seen other examples here in the recent past sell for $50 to around $75. Not a date that you normally come across off-center. Anything beyond 2001, they're a little bit tougher. This is a 2003 Lincoln Memorial cent. It's off-center, I would say 10 to 15%, somewhere around there. Again, great-looking mid-state coin, not a lot of distracting stuff on there to, discount it any. This one ended up selling for $24.95. And our good old Wounded Eagle friend makes a return. I think we had a couple notable sales here in the last day. This one, not the best looking example. As a matter of fact, a lot of what you're going to find out there in circulation or in like soda machines and car washes will probably end up looking like this. But you're going to check the reverse of every 2000p Sacagawea dollar. And what we're looking at is going to be the die gouge that goes through the breast feathers right here. And they're usually paired up with a little bit smaller one as well. So this one is decent enough that you can see this. And it's raised on the coin, okay? It's not incused into the coin, whereas this right here is actually a well-placed hit because it's very close to what this is. But if you look at the shadowing, that was a hit that the coin took that went incused into the actual design. Without that hit, the coin probably would have sold for a little bit more money. That's actually quite distracting to the variety in question. But these are also an FS901 Cherry Picker's Guide variety. This coin sold for $61.95 with 6 bids. So the very, very respectable amount of money for a coin that I feel like has some problems on there. Oh boy, this is actually pretty cool and exciting. You know, the River of No Return, America the Beautiful Quarter, just has a very wholesome reverse design. You know, it's nothing that's crazy. It's nature, it's landscape. You have the boat, you have the river rapids. I mean, it's a really, really cool reverse design of the quarter. But however, if you look at some examples, you find this large die chip attached to the rock. I mean, that is awesome to find something like that. Could there be others that are much bigger than that? I don't know. But you better believe that little die chip is actually much higher in relief onto the coin. You'll be able to feel that really, really easily. So this coin, you know, it didn't sell for a lot of money. But $10.99 represents an amount of cash that is way more than what face value is. It's like 40 times more than that. You know, by the time you factor in shipping and you know, fees, you know, you're probably making around $9.50 on something like this, and that's a good deal all the way around. But me personally, I would just love to have an example to add to my collection because I think they're pretty cool. You know, they're not the splashiest error, you know. Again, no pun intended, because we're looking at the River of No Return here. But it's cool to find something like that. And I've talked about this one a few times before, but revisiting it is quite nice. Another piece of currency here, 1993 $1 bill. Looks like we have a little bit of a misalignment of the second print, which is actually the black underprint of the front of the note. The overprint, which is the third print, is the serial numbers and seals. Those are all perfectly placed in relation to the actual note size. But yeah, the sheet looks like it was a little bit out of alignment prior to that second print. You'll look at the reverse of the note. It's perfect the way it is. Sure, it seems like it's a little bit top heavy as far as centering is concerned, but that's normal. That's within tolerances. So with the misalignment and circulation wear, this one sold for $35.39 with 18 bids. So look out for these. You can find them on even newer notes. Not a pretty one, and I would say most people would be okay just selling these, but it's a pretty big variety and one that's always being pursued. They're quite expensive in higher grades, so maybe something like this would be a little bit of a compromise for someone that's looking to find one on the cheap. 1944 D over S, over mint mark variety. You can actually see the inner kind of curl of the S right there, very well known. This is over mint mark number 2. Or FS512 in the Cherry Picker's Guide, sold for $45.15. So, seems like a very surprising amount of money with the condition issues on the coin, the rim bump, the corrosion on the obverse. But again, someone looking for a bargain example will look at examples and possibly, you know, kind of compromise for this. Again, another coin from last year that made some headlines because it was found later in the year. 2022p Jefferson nickel with the smoking tom is what it's affectionately referred to, strike through. So there's a little bit of a strike through there coming out of his mouth, probably a field restricted strike through type event, where the feeder finger actually had moved and shifted some grease on that obverse die prior to the strike. So the feeder finger did make contact with the die at some point. This one right here ended up selling for $42.03 with 12 bids. The pricing is just, it always amazes me because you would think this is something that would retrace in value, but given its position on the coin and being called the Smoking Tom, this is going to be, again, one of those popular nickname type errors that we're going to see sell for, for a while. And the prices, don't be surprised that they get even stronger as people are looking to assemble a collection of progressions of the size of this event. Really cool one here. Again, another misaligned printing, this time the overprint. You can see the red arrows provided by the seller tells the whole story on this one. So that overprint is shifted to the right and down a little bit. You can see how much there. The note's in really nice shape, although I can see a centerfold, so probably more appropriately like an XF type note, maybe VF, kind of hard to say. $43 for this one, and that's with 25 bids. So there was a lot of bidding activity as people were positioning to own this one. A great looking coin here. Obviously this is going to be one of those dates that's going to be pursued for a date set. 1984 P Jefferson nickel is off center about 60%, somewhere around there. It's a good looking coin with no damage or distracting features on there, carbon spots or anything. $45.23 with 18 bids was the final one on that. And first time that I've covered this one on a 2000p Kennedy half dollar. Wow. Flip that bad boy over when you find them. Flip them all over, as a matter of fact. You might find one like this. It's got a rotated dies error. So when you flip the coin over north to south, and you see that the coin is rotated by 70, 80 degrees like this one is, holy smokes, that's a big find. And most people don't like looking for these because it's like too much work for them to flip the coins around one by one. And I get it, I understand. But these, ladies and gentlemen, are some of the more valuable errors that you could find. And in the case of half dollars, people are looking for silver. This one singular coin sold for $80.25 with 2 bids. So surely blows the doors off any silver you could find in a bank box for sure. So I would say be on the lookout for these. They're always easier to flip the larger coins than the smaller ones like pennies and dimes. I would certainly go that extra mile just so I could, find one like this. I like these coins. The woody wood grain type of cents and nickels are very attractive, and they're being collected by date today. So it's a lot smaller group of individuals that are actually interested in these what they call improper alloy mix coins. So we have a 1917S, quite an early date, but the earlier you get in the Lincoln Cent series, the better your chances are of finding coins that look like this. So the improper alloy mix, the little negligible amount of tin that they add to the copper mixture wasn't mixed properly. So you're going to get these funny kind of like wood grain striations on the coin. Like this one, for example, sold for $22.95. The coin in its current condition is probably worth about $3-4. So they do sell for a little bit more. And it's certainly a worthwhile listing if you wanted to make some extra money, because there is a collector base that does pursue these. Here's our other Wounded Eagle friend, and again, this probably represents the low bar in terms of photo quality. These pictures are very dark, and they're out of focus, especially the close-up. But you can see that die gouge anomaly on the Wounded Eagle here. Again, these are not rare. You can find these pretty easily with enough searching, even here on the West Coast. So this one, again, the FS901, but probably because of the photos, this one did not sell for as much. $51.99 with 4 bids was the final sales tally for this particular example. We also have one of the big varieties in Lincoln cents, 1995 FS101 doubled die obverse. A very plentiful variety, even still being found today in change. Features strong doubling on the words liberty and the motto, "In God We Trust." So look out for these. Again, everybody should know about this coin. This one sold for $43.25. Again, unfortunate obverse photo, but it is a 1964 Denver candy half dollar, so 90% silver. This is the FS501 repunched mid mark. I mean, check out the doubling there of that mid mark. So the secondary mid mark was punched, it looks like south of the primary on this one, if I remember right. But very attractive coin. Again, be on the lookout for this variety, along with a myriad of different doubled dies that you could find on the state. The Denver Kennedy half dollars are always a much better hunt compared to the Philadelphias. This one sold for $30.25, so right around 2.5 times what melt value is on these type of coins. And again, you know, this is just another thing to be on the lookout for. Not the greatest looking specimen. Carbon spots abound, and it is a pretty well circulated example. 2018 Philadelphia Shield cent with that pretty nice die crack that runs through Liberty. I believe this shows up on a couple dates. I think 2015 might be the other one, but 2018 is certainly the one that most people are familiar with. So you have a bunch of little die breaks and chips and stuff in there along that line of crack. This one is sold for $12. So again, you're taking something that doesn't look very attractive and is only worth 1 cent, and you're making 1,200 times face value off of it. So here's another amazing crown die chip. This thing looks like it was probably found very early on when these were released, and the coin was... It's packaged well. I actually like the way that this one looks in terms of appearance. But you'll see, again, that crown die chip. Always a perennial favorite. This one sold for $143. So that's the type of pricing that we're reminiscent to seeing from 2 years ago. We just hadn't seen it in probably the last 6 to 8 months, as the people that own these, you know, they're done buying them. But this is a really great high-end example. 1977 $20 bill. This thing is neat. It's a fold-over print error. So on the front, you'll notice that the seal and serial number is completely missing on the right side of the note. The reverse looks like that. You can actually see the print over of the seal and some of that serial number action. And that's what that looks like. So that corner of the sheet was folded over, and when it was printed, it didn't print all of the serial number, of course, because that ended up on the impression cylinder, and that's how we end up with the wedding transfers, in case you guys were wondering. But there you go. I mean, that's an impressive note. Again, most people would grade these, and I'm not opposed to it at all. $278.99 was the final sale on this one. Talk about huge broad strike. This is probably one of the bigger ones I've seen in a while on the 2001 Lincoln Memorial cent. This thing, according to the seller, is bigger than a nickel and probably getting close in size to a quarter, which is crazy. So this one right here ended up selling for $114.89. I think a lot of that has to do with the size, because this thing is just bonkers. But yeah, that collar was missing when the strike was occurring, so all that metal flow went outwards like, you know, pancake syrup, I guess. And we haven't talked about one of these in a while, but this is actually, there is a readable date on there. Probably this picture doesn't represent it well, but it's a 1944 S Lincoln wheat cent that was struck through a late stage cap die. So there was a coin that was actually stuck to the hammer die, which holds the obverse design of this coin. And it was striking up other coins with this little hat on it. And they look like this. So you have a really nice strong strike on one side, and then you have this that looks, well, pretty well mushy. This coin sold for $73.94. 1897, Indian head cent. Very well collected error on this earlier obsolete, design. Off center by a little bit, nothing too crazy. As a matter of fact, you probably make the argument that it's also a broad strike, so either one or the other, it's that minor. But this one sold for $113.49, and the coin has its fair share of issues, from scratches and possibly an old cleaning. So don't clean your coins, guys. It'll kill the value. I had to think about that one for a second. But yeah, it does kill the value in a pretty big way. And the final coin for today is this 1941S Lincoln wheat cent with what looks to be a cud die break. It could either be a cud die break or a retained cud if there was any design on that raised break there on the reverse. One of the more common dates to find this on, sometimes you'll come across one that just has the die cracks are in that same kind of like shape. Pretty nice example, and don't ever overlook something like this. This one sold for $60.56 with 26 bids. Very nice, attractive amount of money for it, and one to be on the lookout for. Well, my work here is done, but your work is just now going to begin. Go out there and do some hunting if you're going to do some coin shows or the shop this weekend. I wish you guys the best of luck, and have fun at it. This is a great hobby that can pay off dividends like you see today. I'm all choked up, because I love seeing you guys progress, and that's really what matters. So you guys have fun out there. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel and the video if you haven't done so already. Come check me out on Tuesday on Whatnot for more coin sales. We have our Tuesday bargain bin special. It's been hot, so great way to add affordable coins to your collection. But I'm out of here. You guys have a great weekend, and I will see you on a future video. So long.